Yeah. It's time for that boom bap breakfast. Welcome out, everybody. All my gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is that boom bap breakfast right here on Black Power Media with the Remix Morning Show. Now, let me introduce you. I go by the name of Eric Doctor. Now we have our host, no other than Kamal K. Franklin. And burn it down, Kim Brown. And somewhere in the back, if you don't know how to act, we're going to go grab Kalaji Jama Chunda.
Whoa. Got your computer working and shit. Look at
you.
I mean,
baby, we good now. Let's get it.
I see. Word. You ain't blipped once in the whole 3 seconds you've been on. That's like amazing.
Major.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Kamal.
BPM checks getting it popping up in here. It's good.
You bought that without money?
I don't know about that.
Probably. I'm not sure. Check the account.
I love the way that echo on the chonga rings out. I feel as though the echo on chonga rings out stronger than it does on everybody else's name. I love that.
I don't love it, and I noticed it also. I don't love it, and I noticed that also. We'll have to have some talks in the production room about that, Kim.
Listen, it's like that, man.
I got to get stronger African names, then they ring out.
So you got to do that.
Basically,
I start using my complete new African name, Kamal Ade Abio Doon.
Kamal Ade Abio Doon.
Yeah.
Feel better. All right.
It don't hit the same.
Nope.
What's happening?
Good morning.
Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. Oh, before we go any further, pause. I got to tell y'all, today is a holiday in my world. Today is the born date of my daughter Zuri. She turns 9 today. So shout out to Zuri today. You know what I mean?
Zuri.
A young Libra gangster out here. Love it.
Don't remind me. But anyway.
Right.
Shout out to Zuri.
I'm sure she collects her daddy on a regular basis. Yes. Big up to Zuri. Happy birthday, baby girl.
She does.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Anyway, what's popping out here in revolutionary world? What's going down?
Hey, Ear Doctor was turning up at Morris Brown's homecoming over the weekend.
Okay.
I'm glad you noticed, and since you wanted to know about my weekend, I'll go ahead and tell you.
Morris Brown homecoming or homegoing?
Hey, yeah.
There we go. Listen, we back, baby. We got our accreditation.
Okay.
The yard was full of, even Minister Server came out to try to hang with the Morris Brown homecoming with his Q-Dog homeboys. But you know, it was dope. It was dope.
Q-Dog homeboys.
I mean, as you can see, I posted, we had a party out on the yard. I got the DJ for some real cool college students for the 100 Black Men of America. And it was a great weekend. Hung out with my kids. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Good for you.
So what about y'all?
Doctor.
Did nothing? As usual? Okay.
Oh, you said as usual?
You should mind your business, Ear Doctor. Just mind your business.
Mind your business. Exactly. Be happy you outside. That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Be happy y'all got your accreditation back. Talking about some homecoming. You know what I mean? Hey, they had their accreditation since he graduated. Now you talking about homecoming.
Hey, the funny thing is we never stop having homecomings. We ain't care about no accreditation.
Hey.
HBCU. Shout out to all HBCUs out there.
Semantics.
Word. Y'all get
semantics.
I gotta let y'all.
Peace. Anyway, it's the Remix Morning Show. It's a beautiful, bright, I would say sunny day, but that's a lie. Shout out to all the natives celebrated, commemorated Indigenous Peoples Day yesterday. You know what I mean? And still fuck Columbus. We still got that on deck. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's always wonderful to be here with you good people.
True,
what's popping?
True.
Yes, I
everything's good. Sorry, late response on my part. Okay. Everything's good. What I do? I actually spent the weekend doing some stuff in the garden. I did some gardening, some mulch moving, some digging. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, our community garden. Took my kid out there, have him complain a little bit, get some sun on him. But it was good. It was a good weekend.
What you got growing in the community garden? Sativas, indicas, hybrids? What we growing? What we growing in the garden?
One, I know none of that shit. That's not my role. I know nothing about what grows in the garden. My job is to make sure the garden has sufficient funds to make sure that somebody else knows what grows in the garden. Wow. But at this point, nothing is really growing because we're revamping the garden and redesigning it. So we so that we can grow more of what it is that person who runs the garden knows what it is that we should be growing will happen in the near future. So we are revamping.
What's the end result? What's the goal for the garden? Is this to feed the community, or what are we doing here?
So it's a community garden. We are the caretakers of. We've been running that garden since about 2015, 16. It's actually owned by the city, but the city of Atlanta. But when we inherited the garden, took it over, weeds were 7 feet high. Nobody has been using the garden. We put our own resources to rehabilitate it, to make it work. And so ultimately what we do is grow food, and we either give it out to the surrounding community. But our bigger plan in terms of this remodel is to grow enough stuff so that we can add it to our liberation program to supplement the resources we already get out to the larger community. So that's what we're trying to do.
Perfecto. I like how Kamal said, I don't know what the hell is growing in the garden. I'm just gonna look. What would you say? Cabbage? Okay, cool. Growing crayons.
It's like, give me that shovel and tell me where to dig, and I'm doing it. That's my job in the garden. I don't have to ask no questions.
Smokable cabbage? Can we roll this cabbage up?
I had flashbacks to shovels and digs, but anyway.
What's the weed laws in Georgia? I'm just curious. Is it 100% nothing's flying in Georgia in terms of marijuana?
We've been on the air 8 minutes, and Kim want to know the weed laws. So basically.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, if you live like we live, is legal. The reality is we don't fuck their laws. But no, so you can get a ticket or a fine in the city if you have, I believe, more than an ounce or some craziness like that. And then outside certain areas, it's business as usual because these white boys want to get their money, but
but the city of Atlanta has it decriminalized, basically.
Yeah, it's decriminalized. Yeah, but it's
it still don't mean they ain't arrest made. It's supposed to be decriminalized. You get tickets and stuff like that. But I think over the last, you can speak more to this, Kalonji, over the last few years, a whole bunch of, I'm gonna call them weed shops, have popped up all over Atlanta. So
more CBD type shops, but not really just like straight, strands more or less. But it's. I suppose it'll be legal soon, but it's just wild to me that you don't need a permit for a gun, but you can't smoke weed. It's a wild situation, but it's not stopping anybody, man.
Speaking of a wild situation in Georgia, I have been kind of keeping a side eye, let's say, on the whole Herschel Walker controversy. Sorry. But I know the debates, I think, are coming up this week, if I'm not mistaken, between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock, and the polls are very close. What's that Senate situation looking like from y'all's perspective?
It looks like Raphael. Good. I'm going to let you rock with that.
No. Just real quick, I was going to say your boy Herschel has not necessarily agreed to the second debate as of at least yesterday. So maybe today he has. But they say Warnock has a slight lead, that Herschel might be fading a little bit with the 2 accusations of trying to make his girlfriend at the time, I guess, get abortions, if I'm not mistaken. So, but who knows? Who knows? Republicans don't really care about what they say they believe in anyway. Okay. They just want the power. Right?
Yeah, so
that's for you. The rest of that is for all of us.
Yeah, I think that if it is a debate, Warnock could be debating himself, really, because I don't even think Herschel knows he's running or what he's running for. It's like, Herschel, they'll be like, what's your take on abortion? Yeah, when I
done took about 10 chicks to get abortions.
Like, oh no, I'm not supposed to say that. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm against abortions. I'm sorry, I'm against abortions. That's right here on the paper.
For against, so it ain't. It's
come
crazy.
on now. Herschel's hilarious. Herschel has 4 kids. I can't remember by how many different women, but it's very obvious that Herschel does not subscribe to birth control, right? This is not. This is not in Herschel's wheelhouse, and I'm sure Herschel has paid for way more abortions than is being reported.
I think Herschel's parents should have been pro-abortion. But anyway,
no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry.
He's a great football player, though. I give him that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was so old
as a human being, but as a football player,
it's
fantastic.
I mean, he represents, he has that mentality, man. So you can tell there's been some type of damage somewhere. But shout out to Herschel, the old Herschel, back in the day, the old Herschel, the football player.
The old beating on his women Herschel, that Herschel? Which
no,
old
man.
Herschel we
I'm
shot
talking
now?
about playing for Georgia football. Damn.
He was probably beating on chicks then. That would be my
Somebody
guess.
might have been beating on him.
Somebody accused Herschel of beating on people too?
Oh, yes. Domestic violence
I'm late on
accusations
that too, so.
have accompanied all of this. Yeah.
No, I mean, Herschel always, as a human being, he was always garbage. You could just tell that by I mean, he loved Trump from early on. Remember, he went to the United States Football League also, and I think that's where he got to his great love for Trump, because like he got put on there, supposed to go into the NFL, and it was sort of like, became the star of that league or whatever like that. So, I mean, he's, he always has been, not right in the head for various reasons, whatever. So.
Yeah, I think before football. But I mean, on the real, I don't, I mean, Herschel, Warnock, same garbage, we're not expecting any significant change as far as the community at large, the people at large. So, I stopped rocking with Warnock after the whole, like I said, after the Troy Davis thing. He was going hard for Troy Davis. I give him that to his credit. And then after that, it was like, we're off to the races, literally. So.
Well, the big thing here also in Georgia is that your girl, Stacy Abrams, apparently there's some angst in their camp around how close they are. The polls, and the polls have been wrong, for her before, in terms of how close she came to winning the governorship last time. But apparently there's some distance created. And then your boy, Killer Mike, is on the air pumping out shit for Kemp, kind of like giving that nuanced answer of like, he had a good week. He had a good week. Don't blame us because he had a good week. I was like, you popping that banjo for Kemp like that, man? I was like, how many meetings you got? How many meetings it take for you to just turn your head? He let you sit down in the big house and you all happy now and shit. It's like, damn. You would think my man would be like, like his in general, his stride is liberal Democrat. Why is he all on that Kemp shit? I don't know.
Come on, Mike.
I know.
Don't let him do it to you, man.
Listen,
I know it ain't so.
It is something about Black folks, aspirational Black folks. Once they get into them circles, man, they want to stay in them circles. Like Killer Mike wants to be able to rub shoulders with the likes of Brian Kemp and even Donald Trump, I would imagine. He was a Sanders
man. Don't do him all the way like that. He was down with Sanders, but anyway, this is. I mean, the Kemp shit is like, white men, whatever. Black women, because Stacy's saying bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm waiting for this third party to come along, a third party that is really going to take us to revolution. But until then, it's like, this is all bullshit. I was checking out a program yesterday, how they was talking about there are 5 states with at least 2 women running for governor in it. And I think this is the first time that's happened. And they were talking about, the women Republicans and all that, so on and so forth. And it's just, it's such bullshit. We are headed to hell with this system. And if we think that it's going to be able to be fixed, then, we got another thing coming. But that's just where we are.
In hell. Currently.
Speaking of hell.
Okay.
The opposite of hell. It's heavenly. It is the anti-hell.
Can I speak heavenly, though? We don't know what's heavenly. I know she may not be ready, but bam!
Jackie Lukman.
Hey!
It's my co-host on Riot Starter TV. Y'all better act like y'all know.
My co-host are by any means necessary. Y'all better be chilling.
He's still.
By any means.
Oh
what I'm saying?
my
That's
Sometimes
my
you have a
sister
guest
from another
post
mother.
Jackie,
Yes.
tell the truth.
Yes.
Who you rolling with, Jackie?
Who you rolling with, Jackie?
Come on, Jackie.
Come on, Jackie.
Gentlemen, there's enough of Jackie to go around. There's enough of Jackie to go around.
I don't care, Jackie.
Increasingly less, but yes, there is still enough for me to
She
go.
said increasingly less. What's up, Jack? Welcome back.
What's going on? I actually kind of forgot what time it was. This is one of the
Don't
few
worry
days
about it.
that I'm not on my way to the dialysis center to, for training and treatment. And they're supposed to be coming to install the water line that will go to the machine from my water source, and they're not here yet. They're supposed to be here at 7:30. So
Okay.
a sister been up since 7 o'clock. Didn't have to be.
See, you could have been on time. See, that's the bullshit right there, Jackie.
Won't she do it?
Won't she do it? WWJD, what would Jackie do? Anyway,
before we take this break, speaking of Stacy Abrams, they had the One Music Fest this weekend, and guess who brought out Young Jeezy? No other than our mayor, Andre Dickinson, and Stacy Abrams
Dickens,
came
brother.
up there. What is it? Oh, Dickens, that's right. Drake, my boy Drake. And then Stacy Abrams was up there. She's like, I'm gonna decriminalize marijuana for the whole state. I was like, what? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
To sell out for a nickel bag.
And then while little Duvall was standing right next to her blowing trees right now. Classic moment. But yo, let's go ahead and take this quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Don't touch that dial.
All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Right now, we're going to get to a little bit of weather. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. We got a fundraiser going on for our Cuba documentary. Please make sure y'all go and throw some change on that so we can make this thing look like it should be an IMAX theater. That's what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? And go to patreon.com, drop some change there too, man. We got a whole lot of things for y'all. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right to the weather report. Let's start in the ATL. They got a high today of 73 degrees. Now let's take it up to the city of brotherly love, Philly. They got a high today of 72. Now let's take it to the Chi, Midwest. All right, they got a high of 70. It's a lot of 70s going on around here until you go down to the dirty of Houston. Houston, Texas got a high of 85. And now let's take it to the west side. Let's go to Oakland. Oakland, another high of 73. 70s is all over the place till you take it down to them place them called Jamaica. They got a high today of 87. Now let's take it to the motherland, no other land. Let's take it to Kenya. What is this? Nakuru, Kenya. Yeah, I got that one right. I like that. I like that. Nakuru, Kenya. They got a high today of 76 degrees. Now, that's pretty average. And I'll tell you what else is kind of average. Teammates having squabbles and stuff like that. But one thing about the squabble is they're average and people have them. But who's recording and then leaking it out to everybody? Like between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. This right here. Woo. Boom. Oh my goodness. Oh my, one more time. This is, oh man. I mean, look how he leaned into it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was not right there, man. But listen, those things happen. People fight on teams, but the fact that it got leaked out and they showed that just so they could show Draymond doing that, come on, y'all. Who's up in the bleachers at a practice doing that? That's foul. But it's also foul that Draymond snuffed him like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right back to the Remix Morning Show. Yeah.
That was good snuff, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
You see how you
let's go.
Yeah, we need every now and then we need to do like in studio sessions and snuff each other. What you think? That keep the continuity. What you think, Jackie?
I don't know.
Keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes.
I'm not into S&M like that.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Flashbacks. She said whips.
Spicy this morning. Come on.
This show is sponsored by
Chains and whips.
That's
the best sponsor we ever gonna get.
the chains and whips.
Nobody
You can
else
take
can
it
do
whichever
it.
way you want to take it. Either way it applies.
Oh, man.
Anyway, welcome back to the Remix Morning Show, where these people not lost they goddamn mind. Thank you, Ed Doctor, for that serious weather report.
No doubt, no doubt.
He even represented Kenya today.
Yes,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? That was a beautiful thing.
I catch you
Atlanta.
on the next go round.
No doubt. Atlanta in the building. No doubt. So we got a lot of news coming up too. A lot of BS here in the wonderful colony of the United States of America. So with that in mind, you know what? Pause for a second. This is beautiful to have this gender balance on the screen today. You know what I'm saying? Isn't it a wonderful thing? Kim, we did that for you. Anyway, slap the map. We'll be back.
The Remix Morning Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Black Power Media.
Welcome.
Wonderful Tuesday morning here in October, joined by my wonderful, beautiful comrades and colleagues, Kalanji Kamal, and of course the erudite Jacqueline Lukman. Jackie, I've been saying, like, since you've been on break, I feel as though there's at least 50 regular Remix viewers who are determined not to show up until Jackie shows up. So hopefully that 50 got their notifications this morning that Jackie is on the show.
Oh my gosh, don't be like that. Don't be. I'm not dead. I'm just on a little break.
Oh no. But they call them the Jackie loyalists. The Jackie loyalists. They here for Jacqueline.
Yes, I understand and I appreciate that, but I need y'all to be Black Power Media loyalists. I need y'all to be Remix Morning Show loyalists. Come on, man. Don't be abandoning my people like that.
You hear that, Ricky? You hear that, Ricky?
Hey, stop that.
That's just malicious. So, thank you, Jackie, for understanding how important it is to support this wonderful platform and all platforms wherever we are. You know what I mean? Because there's some great people on this piece. I want to definitely shout Jackie out. Jackie just had a birthday the other day as well.
What?
And she tried to front, didn't tell nobody. She was on Riot Starter the day before, didn't say Nathan, nothing.
Nope.
And then I go to her page.
It was actually the day of.
Is the day of?
Yep.
How low can you go?
It said nothing, Jacqueline, nothing.
Zero.
Because I mean, look, everything that's gone on with me this year, but it's been, I was way more emotional than I was comfortable being.
You was emotional that day?
I was a mess. I was, oh man,
I was in
well.
Here. I guess all other weirdos on there.
Talking to the ancestors. I was talking to Jesus. I'm snotting, crying, and like.
I did hear you mumbling some shit. I'm like, what Jackie over there talking about?
Yeah, it's like, get on here with Daruba and Jumbo.
Yeah, don't be snotting on Riot Starter. We don't have
that old girl. They old. They like they real old.
Oh man, try to diss the fam, man. Try to call
it. I love them. That doesn't mean they ain't old.
No, it's just this birthday. There's a lot.
I mean, there's
a lot going on with me, So I was real emotional for a good minute, but I'm okay now. Now I'm just kind of wilding out and doing.
Have you hit 40 yet, Jackie?
Bless your heart.
Look at Kamal.
Jacqueline, for people who want to shower you with some birthday blessings, I mean, please don't be humble. Like, how can people send you some actual material shit for your birthday?
That's what. That's a big birthday ask, a kidney. No, but I know.
Got you, Jackie.
I'm so uncomfortable with that. I'm not, I'm not good with asking for help at all. So this whole period now is like, it's really messing with my head. Like I have to ask for help now, and I'm really bad at it. So yeah, so there is that is the big ask. But if people want to, I don't know, well, whatever you want to do, you can find me at PayPal, Luke Mon Nation, PayPal at Luke Mon Nation. That's where I am.
But
So,
dang,
whatever you would like to do. I ain't asking for nothing. I'm just saying I'm trying to go see Chucho Valdez later on this month at the Kennedy Center.
Go ahead and put 50 racks on it for Jackie today, ladies and gentlemen. Here, shout out to the remixes. I want to definitely shout the remixes out there because they've been loyal to the cause. BPM in the building. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. I think we're a few away from there.
That is
almost 20,000 subscribers. So we need all of you good people out there, because I know some of you check us out, you rock with us, but you haven't hit that button yet. Subscribe to the joint, and let us know that you're rocking with us. Definitely support Jackie and her plight and her birthday gift. You know what I mean? And definitely support the channel. We here, we got some news for you good people today too. So what's going on? I know that there's a request to talk about Los Angeles City Council President Nuri Martinez. Anybody want to kick off with Funky Nuri?
I sent Kamal the audio of the recording.
You tried to send me the audio. You sent me a link that I had to subscribe to.
Twitter? I'm telling you.
You didn't send me a Twitter. What is wrong with you in your early morning email?
I'm telling y'all. I mean, I could show you the sent email. There are 2 links in the email.
Okay,
there are definitely 2 links. I'm telling you, whatever Apple has done, and I attribute this to the iOS 16 update. It has fucked my shit up when it comes to trying to copy and paste links in email.
I just found it for you. I was about
to say, like a very easy, simple task. All of a sudden has.
Why I gotta be that now? So why I gotta be an easy task? See, we can't.
Why y'all?
Why we fighting?
I wouldn't even talk about you.
I'm complaining about easy task of me.
Before breakfast, y'all. Oh my!
Did you hear this?
I'm gonna share this while y'all argue with each other about y'all personal antics.
I wasn't even coming for you, Kamal.
My bad. I'm back.
There's been a lot of BPM beef lately. What's going on, man? What's the deal, man?
Tell Brooklyn to calm down out here, man. Tell Brooklyn to chill the fuck out.
Cut it out and get back to work.
Beef Power Media. That's our new name. Fuck the black. It's the
Beef Power Media.
Beef Power Media.
Beef Power Media.
That's right.
All right.
Here.
Only family can act like this before breakfast towards.
Yes.
Well, speaking of beef, let's get to the story. The Los Angeles.
Thank God for Ophase. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Good. I'm sorry. You have one more
joke,
joke,
brother.
Yeah, one more joke.
No. You got it, Kamal.
Los Angeles City Council President resigns from leadership role after audio leaked of her racist remarks. Are you gonna play the remarks, Kalonji? You got that on there, or?
Well, if you want me to, I thought you was doing it, but I will, brother.
I mean, you jumped up and you put your thing on the screen. You can't both.
Is that what I did?
President, but they
hold on. Nah, I don't think.
Run it back.
Let's see if we can run this thing back. Y'all lucky.
You
Jackie
take yours off. I got the thing that was that Kim sent. Let me put that up.
Good. Thank you. Let me take this off the screen then. Don't worry about our technical difficulties. Our producer is on vacation. Oh no,
I don't give enough money. This is what y'all get.
Hey, Seuss.
Like the
I'm just saying.
I mean,
what's happening, people?
I don't know. There's no audio.
Wait a minute now. I'm getting it all set up. Y'all supposed to be doing the whole setup while I'm getting this done.
Are we?
Okay.
Here we go.
I feel like we need context.
My co-host Kamal. This is what you do.
Shh.
Did he shush you?
He did shush you.
We're gonna get to that later.
It's dramatic. Well, play the goddamn audio.
Wait a second. It's giving you the context, Kamal. Context.
We already know the context.
What's the context then? Smarty.
She racist.
Well, besides that.
So getting back to Marquise, I told Danny, if you want to cut a deal and if you want to make like the boss moves, I would go after the airport. He goes, I know that idea. I said, tell Marquise,
So
go take it from his friend.
Don't go
after. Leave him alone. Go get the airport from his little brother, that little bitch Bonnet. I go, what is with the Bonnet? What's with Bonnet? I said, Bonnet thinks he's black. That guy don't think he's black. I go, he thinks he's black. I told her the same thing. He goes, why are they so close?
And he's from Massachusetts. This kid, the one here, this kid is the best.
Lo trae así during Black History Month, lo lleva al council y lo pone acá en el, remember, it's an accessory. When we do the MLK parade.
Just like when
they used to have those statues in plantations.
Just like when Nori brings her little yard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag, and places
su negrito, like on the side, and lo trae, ¿verdad? You sit next to it, you don't know the other side. For MLK, for the parade that Herb used to organize, and we all the council who wanted to join Herb on the float, because he used to do a whole float to be nice. Bonnie would be like, hey, Nuri, are you going to the MLK? Well, Herb invited me, I'll go. Okay, I'm bringing whatever the kid's name is. I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm over here trying to parent this kid. I'm like, you can't do that. I said no. And Mike is like, I'm like, you're not teaching your kid anything. It's me and Karen Bass on the float trying to check this little kid. Me, Karen Bass, y la esposa de Marquise, Carrie. And we're all looking at each other because we're the three women on the floor. Like, this kid's gonna tip us over because he's literally hanging on the rails.
Well, you can't let him off because the spectators will beat his ass.
Yeah.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Se me entiendes? Ven para acá.
Yeah.
So anyways, getting back to the district.
Well, there is that. So, according to the Los Angeles Times, the leaked audio of then Los Angeles City Council President Nori Martinez, which was privately making racist remarks, was part of a, quote, serious security breach of Los Angeles County's Federation of Labor Offices involving, quote, illegal recordings of many private confidential conversations within the offices and conference rooms, the Federation told affiliates on Sunday via email, according to text provided to the Los Angeles Times. So apparently, a labor leader, Kevin DeLeon, is also going to resign as a result of this. And I'm still trying to get caught up necessarily on the details and the significance of what this leaked audio means. But that was Nuri Martinez, fellow council member Gil Cedillo, and Kevin DeLeon, and Labor Federation President Ron Herrera. And Martinez, who stepped down Monday as president of the LA City Council, is heard making racist statements and disparaging other politicians.
And we should say, so for obviously part of that was she was switching back from English to Spanish. So the big thing that got her caught out there wasn't like her little clubhouse, conversations about, who's doing what, who's not taking care of their kid. But she specifically said that a white council member, I guess, who has an adopted black son, handled his black son as if they were an accessory and described Councilman Mike Bonen's son in Spanish. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that in Spanish, but the English translation, like a little monkey or like a monkey. And so that is what caused the uproar that sort of forced her, I guess, to resign from city council, and for her now to backtrack, of course, and try to suggest that, of course, she didn't really mean it like that, so forth and so on.
So, okay, I'm going to be the fly in the ointment here. Ooh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry, but I meant it. So I'm listening to this conversation and I'm listening to these people And from what I'm hearing, they're talking about how and I feel like this is a conversation that is being blown up because people are like, oh, they're saying mean things about this little black kid. But what they're really saying is how the white parents of this little black kid don't actually parent the little black kid and parade their little black kid around as if he is their accessory. And how often do we talk about this among us with so-called do-gooder Yurugus who just have to adopt black children, particularly from the continent, as if they're little accessories. So I'm not understanding why people are not picking up on that's what they're saying in that part of the conversation. Now, when
she
the
could have
woman
got away with all of that. I think she could have said all of that even if
right,
she
and
did
not said and
before.
not call that child a
Well,
monkey.
that's the thing. If her racism didn't come out, if her overt racism
Now
didn't come out in that moment,
is true,
and it was taped and it was leaked, she could have survived all of that. But I think it was the idea of the fact that she called the black child a monkey, and it was released. So I don't think anything else. I don't think anybody's looking at anything because we all probably agree in terms of like we don't know the city council person, but obviously we know white folks who adopt black folks like this, like it's a Halloween treat or some shit like that. They can put them out and then they can put them back or do whatever, that kind of thing. And there might be sincere people who are doing it too, but we just know too many cases where the racism in America means that there's so many black folks, the white supremacy, that there's so many black kids who are taken away from their parents or parents who are in certain circumstances, and then the adaptation or the adoption needs to happen, and white folks who are more affluent can just go in there and slide in and adopt black kids. But the main thing with the story is that she called the black child a monkey. And again, the fact that it was recorded on top of it and leaked. And so she had no, if she was a right-wing Republican, she might have tried to ride it out. But in this particular case, she could not ride that out. So.
Well,
I think that
just really quick. She's only retired. She's only resigned as city council president. She has not resigned from the Los Angeles City Council altogether. She is still a sitting member on that body.
Right. But also beyond that, we have to be careful as well as to who's doing the reporting. Because this can easily become a black and brown, black versus brown, that type bullshit. Right. So we got to keep in mind that there's a vested interest in it too, beyond her dumbass. Her, Nuri Martinez, clearly she's an ignorant bitch, and that's without argument, right? So as far as and I agree with what you all were saying in regards to we always see white folks, especially here in Atlanta, that treat little black children like they're a monkey on a keychain, for real. You know what I'm saying? I've really had to step to several different white folks in different communities that, they deal with black folks as if, with these little black babies, like they're, like they're toys or something. They keep them unkempt and have them looking all, like they just got them up out of somewhere that out of, like they saved them, what I'm saying? Like they were missionaries and they came into some remote area and just picked them out and said, okay, we're going to save you and we're going to bring you to our petting zoo. You know what I'm saying? That's how they kind of deal with them. But I think that, again, we have to be careful with, with the confusion that'll come with this, because automatically folks will start talking about, well, see, I told you nobody don't care about us, so on and so forth, this and that. Let's not get caught up in the bullshit. Let's deal with who we dealing with and how we dealing with it. And also, I'm interested in knowing, more about who this person is. You understand what I'm saying? Because, we automatically see a quote unquote Spanish name and we confuse Spaniards and others. And, as far as these Europeans as a whole. So I don't know the context. I don't know it as a whole. I think that she should be unseated, and I think she should not only resign as president, but resign, period. Just get your ass up out of here or be ran out, because of the fact that we see how it is. But I think the real thing behind it as well is you have this white boy who is the father, who's looking to play the quote unquote race card in whatever way he can. He's insulted because she pointed his monkey ass out. You understand what I'm saying? But like you said, besides the remark about the child being a monkey, everything else is like, all over the place.
Well, Nora Martinez. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say that she's very pro-police. A lot of local activists and organizers have staged protests directly in front of her house because of her anti-Black policies and her anti-Black position. So she is absolutely not a friend to the Black community of Los Angeles. And these anti-Black remarks are very on brand for the way that she has governed since she has been a member of the LA City Council.
Yeah. And I think for me, the part of the conversation that I really want to hear, because her calling the child a monkey, absolutely ridiculous and racist, but the fact that the conversation was captured and cut off, it was captured when she was talking about some redistricting effort to capture some piece of real estate. And then after the insults, then the conversation was cut off when she says, okay, let's go back to talking about redistricting. Yeah, let's talk about let's hear what you had to say about redistricting. Redistricting what? Redistricting for whom? Because I think rather than just and only being outraged at the fact that she called this Black child a monkey, which was absolutely fucked up. Yes, it was. If her politics in regard to redistricting are way more egregious and affect way more people than her calling this one Black child of somebody else a monkey. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm explaining that right. Like the damage she can do to people who she is talking about redistricting about, that's more important to me than her saying a mean thing about this Black child, which I'm not taking away from the racist nature of that, but in the greater context of her job and the power she has and the power that she has through her job to impact so many other people's lives in LA, I think this whole thing about, she called this child a monkey and she's a racist. Yeah, she is. But what's her plan for redistricting? And I bet you that causes way much more damage to a lot more Black people than what she said about this one little Black child. I
think part of it is that to see that I completely agree. And that's what America is. Right? America is, you can do what you want as long as you don't use overt racial discriminatory words or use words like calling people names. At least that was the case until Trump came back in, right? And now you can get away with a whole bunch of stuff that for a while you can no longer get away with, kind of thing. But that's what America. If you say nice things, you can cut somebody's throat and have no harm come to you because you could put the policy in some way where some newspaper will play it off like it's a balanced or either way. So yeah, she can redistrict all she wants. She can cut out the Black vote. She can move folks around. She can make sure resources are distributed back up to capital for the city, and then she'll come up with excuses or rationales or reasons, and the media will just play it off like, oh, that's fine. But when you say something overt that can't be defended, then they'll try to cut your throat. At least the Black kid, put it like this: the NAACP, other folks, and I think rightfully so in this case, will say shit to be like, let's cut your throat. Maybe this is the rationale we were looking for to cut this person's throat anyway. Because as you also are saying, the views that she has around redistricting and other things are obviously informed by what she thinks about Black people, which she did not expect to be recorded expressing those things publicly about what she feels, but one plays into the other. Those views of hers are the very same views that she has that allows her to do the stuff that Kim was talking about in terms of her pro-police stance, probably what she's doing in other ways in terms of her role in the city council in Los Angeles. But they play into what that is already. And so I think that's part of what, in terms of who she is already and how that informs what she did anyway. And she got caught because somebody decided to, again, it seems serendipitously record the recorder and then decide to release it at some point, to record the conversation and then decide to release it.
But what pisses me off even more is the blatant disrespect of this black child. You know what I'm saying? I just saw a piece yesterday of this cat Charleston White, whatever the fuck his name is, him going at T.I.'s son, talking about how he looked and referred to him in the derogatory fashion or whatever, as far as and I think that the one thing I agree with his father was that keep children up out of shit. I think that folks feel real comfortable talking shit about people's kids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that when you go around disrespecting children, you need your ass whooped. That's how I feel about that personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up. Don't put the kid in it. If you feel like he was, because first of all, even with the child, you saying that he was misbehaved, so on and so forth. You don't know his background. He could have been autistic. He could have been special needs, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? I can remember my son when he was younger. Some folks would look at him like, oh, he's bad. And I remember I really had to get into it with this dude. I was really about to toss him because he said some dumb shit like, if that couldn't be my son, it ain't your son, motherfucker. Pardon my English to the good people out there. But you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on with this child. So that's a whole nother take. But I think that, folks definitely need to, tread lightly when you talk about people's children, man. That's just my take on it.
Agreed. If I were the parent of that child, the other story would have been she got caught in the alley. And mother of said child is posting bail because that's how
that part. But anyway, welcome to the Remix Morning Show, the home of the thief and the slave. It is 8:48 a.m. EST. We have a guest coming up at the 9 o'clock hour. We have a real serious situation going on, which we calling on all our BPM folks, all our supporters, comrades, colleagues, etc., to get behind this case, the case of Kevin Johnson, who is slated to be murdered by the state of I was about to say Mississippi. It's like all this shit is the same. He's being slated to be murdered by the state of Missouri in less than 60 days. So we're going to have someone from his coalition come on and talk about why we need to get behind this brother's case. That'll be at 9 a.m. What else is popping? What else we got? We got a few minutes before the ear doctor comes on. Not everyone speak at once.
Jackie, our international correspondent is here. Yay!
Okay. So yeah, I've been kind of in a little bit of fugue state, and I barely know what the heck is going on, but I do know. There you go. I do know about what the U.S. is lying about Russia annexing 4 regions in Ukraine. Absolute lie, just like the lie that Russia annexed Crimea. And it's a lie because you have to understand that annex is a word that has a specific meaning. It means that one country illegally and by force took territory from another country. That is not what happened in either case. People voted. But you know how the empire is. This government doesn't like it when people vote for their own self-determination. That means that they align themselves with someone other than the empire. And that's what those folks did. And I want to raise the issue of, because I feel like, when we talk about imperialism, U.S. imperialism, I feel like we could pick any country and any conflict that's going on anywhere in the world right now, and we'd be dead on about pointing out, the role of the U.S. and its Western allies in it. But I think what is going on in Haiti right now is of paramount importance to the way this empire has always operated. The people in Haiti, the brothers and sisters in Haiti, have been, I think it's going on 3 weeks now, nonstop protest in the streets, 3 weeks. Why? Because they're governed by yet another imposed leader, Ariel Henry. Ain't nobody in Haiti vote for that man. The last imposed prime minister was assassinated. The U.S. decided to appoint this person, Ariel Henry. The brothers and sisters in Haiti were like, we're tired of this. We're tired of U.S. imperialism. We're tired of NGO imperialism, because that's what it is. These NGOs are propped up by the U.S. and Western nations in countries like Haiti. And they control everything. They control access to food, water. So the people in Haiti have been quite creative in dealing with particularly the NGO situation, where they have been raiding the NGO offices and destroying them. And I salute and applaud the people for that. The UN warehouses where they have stored and really stockpiled stores of food, rice, flour that the people need. Those warehouses have been raided and the supplies repatriated to the people. I applaud and celebrate the people for doing that. But and they are opposing this narrative that is emerging from the United States and its allies, that an intervention needs to be carried out in Haiti to oppose the criminal gangs. Well, where'd those guns come from? That these folks, that there is a problem with that in Haiti, but Haiti doesn't produce these weapons. So where did they come from? They came in the shipments with the stuff that these people who are the NGOs and the UN, and that's where they came from. So the US, the empire, has created a situation in Haiti where they can once again make an excuse for a military intervention in Haiti, another military intervention in Haiti. But the people have been in the streets and stayed in the streets demanding that no intervention, no military intervention happen, and that they be left alone with the right to their own self-determination. So,
and they've been watching for the downfall of the current government.
Yes.
And hence basically there's been a mainstream media blackout on those events. Those could continue, again, hundreds of thousands of Haitians. If you look on social media, you'll find different places where they're showing hundreds of thousands of Haitians continually marching, demonstrating, taking over things, like you said. But the narrative isn't that these folks are doing that to fight back against an unjust government. The narrative that we get when we get any narrative about Haiti is the unruliness, anarchy in the street, and that you need gangs in the street, and that you need the United States, the UN to come in and control all of that, and that help is being asked for by Haitian elites. And so that's the narrative you get there, and that as counter opposing that with what's happening in the Ukraine. You get Ukraine coverage all day, all night. When the bridge that was recently blown up as a continued act of war within a war, you get that reported as a resistance move that we should applaud, and how Russia got hit and Russia should be embarrassed. But the opposite narrative, if Russia does anything back, of course, is Russia killing masses of Ukrainians and so forth and so on. Again, with no context around how this war was pushed in the first place by the deliberate attempts by the United States and NATO to expand to the borders, continually expand to the borders of Russia, even though Russia had told them time and time again that this was a red line, that do not do this, that there's other negotiations at play, and to work this out, and the United States continued to do what it did. And ultimately, Russia did what it did, right? And again, like lastly, in terms of international situations, we have in Iran with the women who are rebelling. But the narrative here is that people are looking to overthrow the state. And that may not be the case at all, to be honest, because there is strong support for loosening some of the dictates of the Islamic Revolutionary Government. But any poll shows that there is not support for overthrowing it. It's a legitimate government in other means and ways. And I saw one narrative that somebody put up is like, Iranians don't matter when they're being sanctioned and murdered by the West. They don't matter when they're being invaded by their neighboring countries, but they only matter when folks are burning a hijab, right? So it has nothing to do with women demanding their rights in Iran that we should all support. But the narrative that we get from the West is strictly that this is somehow, I feel like every 6 months, they're suggesting there's some new revolution brewing in Iran that they want to support. And so that narrative, again, is what's being put out there in terms of what's happening around the world.
Let me circle back real quick, Jackie, because I have questions for you really quick, as I know we got to get to break. But the status of the NATO coalition versus Russia seems to be falling apart, but it's never reported in the American press that this is basically the United States and Ukraine versus Russia. Because from what I understand, Germany has pulled back all of their support, all of their, propping up financially for Ukraine, any weapons. Germany has said, fuck that shit. Like, this gas that we buy from Russia in the wintertime is about to triple in price. So Germany's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to talk peace with Mr. Putin because winter is coming. Is that accurate? Are we seeing the NATO coalition slowly but surely withdraw its support for this war?
I think, the Germany did pull back some of their support. But I think that there are still European nations that are very wary of being on the wrong side of the U.S. Because they don't want to, be on the wrong side of that relationship. But winter is coming, and it do be getting cold in Europe in the winter. And Saudi Arabia just agreed with Russia. OPEC is going to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day. So Saudi Arabia has sided with Russia. Now, look, Saudi Arabia is a fascist regime, and I'm not giving them any props for anything, but I think that sent a signal to the rest of the NATO U.S. Western coalition that they're not going to win this one. They're not going to win this one. Winter is coming. These people they're not fitting to face their citizens to be in the streets protesting them this winter over not having it, because this whole campaign in Europe of, hey, be cold this winter to support Ukraine, that shit ain't flying. That shit is not. That is an actual campaign that they tried to fly in the UK. It went something like that, and people are like, "The fuck if I will." So yeah, it's not flying. Like I said a few days ago, the US, EU, and NATO will not win this war against Russia. The loss might not come next week. It might not come next year. They may not admit defeat, but they will lose. They've already lost this war, and it's just a matter of the actual fighting to cease. And when that happens, I mean, I think a couple of days ago, Zelensky asked NATO to let Ukraine in again, and they were like, hell no. So
speaking of cold,
and
something that's colder than the white man, let's take a short break for the ear doctor to come on, because then we have a guest coming on in the background. You like that? Colder than the white man? You like that?
That's really,
So yeah,
how original.
Let's get to this quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show.
I'll be right back with you.
Boom, boom, boom. Big up, everybody. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Make sure y'all subscribe. We're trying to get to those 20K. Let's do it today, y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Go ahead and subscribe. We got something for them. All right, boom. So who we going to talk about? We in the hip-hop streets right now. I want to put a spotlight on this one brother. In case you didn't know, who am I talking about? No other than Kool Moe Dee. That's right, Kool Moe Dee. Let's talk about Kool Moe Dee real quick. Also known as Mohansdas Dewisi. That's his name right there. Yeah, he's a writer, actor, rapper. He's actually considered one of the first to bring forth the New Jack Swing sound, because he was one of the first to get down with no other than Teddy Riley to bring that sound out. But he was also one of the pioneering groups Treacherous 3, back in the day who came out. His rap style was fast, and a lot of people picked up off of this fast rap style. We talking Big Daddy Kane, Karis One, Rakim, a lot of people. So he was doing this thing for a while. He actually he dropped more than, what was it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 albums. It's starting back in 1986. His last one was Interlude in 1994. Now, a lot of y'all know he did have some beefs with different rappers, especially LL Cool J. They had a long-going rivalry for a while, and MC Shan actually jumped into it because they didn't like how LL was claiming he was the rap's new grandmaster, especially rocking the Kango like my man MC Shan. But yeah, once again, Kool Moe Dee has been doing this thing. Y'all know about his song Wild Wild West, and he also got a Grammy for Back on the Block off the Quincy Jones album. So Kool Moe Dee, no other than, if y'all don't know about him, you better go check him out. Yeah, right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Show.
Yes, sir. I went down a Moe Dee rabbit hole the other day, and I was re-impressed again with Kool Moe Dee as an MC. I go to work. What was my other joint that I liked?
I go to work. He had a number. He had
How You Like Me Now. Boom,
How You Like Me Now. Yeah. And that was one of the disses towards LL right there.
Yeah. Shout out to Kool Moe Dee. And we'll talk about Kool Moe Dee some more, but right now we need to talk about KJ because Kevin Johnson is on death row. Yeah. And hopefully Kool Moe Dee supporting Kevin Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Right. If not, then fuck Kool Moe Dee. But anyway, we're gonna go straight to we got this guest.
What did Moe Dee do to deserve any?
I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate. Hey, what DP says is still bigger than hip hop. Anyway, with that in mind, we do have a guest coming up right about now. So stay tuned. Because I know that she's short for time, and I know that this case is short for time. So we're gonna go get right into it on the Remix Morning Show. Peace, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Kalonji. How are you this morning?
I'm cool in the game. Good to have you on board this morning. Wish you were coming through to talk about something that was more joyous and more joyful. But today is not that day. But I'm absolutely happy to have you on board. For folks who are unfamiliar, this is a case right here, which is like most cases when we deal with the state. It is an act of terrorism. It's a case where the state of Missouri has put an expiration date once again on a human being. And this brother Kevin Johnson, according to the state, has less than 60 days left to live. But it is our efforts, along with the serious work, the groundwork that you've been doing out in Missouri to stop that production. For folks who are unfamiliar, please, first of all, introduce yourself and then tell us who Kevin Johnson is and why you're involved in this case.
Okay. Well, good morning. So my name is Michelle Smith. I am with an organization in Missouri. We fight to abolish the death penalty overall. It's Missourians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. And so I'm located actually in St. Louis. So this is the work that we're tasked with. In addition to supporting people like Kevin, we also, work with our legislators, work with people in the community trying to get to a point where we can actually pass a law about abolishing this horrific practice. Until then, we have some difficult leaders like our governor. So until then, we advocate at each particular setting of an execution date. And right now, it is Kevin. He has a date of November 29th. So right now we're 49 days out. So I, really got pretty close with Kevin and his family just because of the situation, these circumstances that, occurred that led up to what's going on with him. We all know that, Black communities have been harmed by, the police targeting, harassment, and brutality, and no different from the community that Kevin came from. And also, like I said, I'm from St. Louis, so Ferguson is ground zero here. That's where I am. So, the community he came from is called Meacham Park, which is a very small community of majority Black people that have been harassed by the police for many decades. And so, specifically Kevin's situation, he was born, into a situation that many of us have: a drug addicted mother, an incarcerated father, being passed from foster cares to relatives to group homes. So he has a very sadly typical raising that I know so many people similar to Kevin. And that really contributed to the circumstances that led up to why he's on death row. So I'll talk about that a little bit. So July the 5th of 2005, of course, the day after the holiday, Kevin was at his grandmother's house. He has had a little brother. And where we're from, like our younger siblings, especially when you're several years older than your younger siblings, you're almost like a parent, especially when your mother's on drugs and your father's in jail, right? Like you take on that role. And so Kevin had a little brother who was 7 years younger than he was. And on this particular day in July of 2005, his little brother had a seizure. He was born with a heart defect. And so he had been, sick for most of his life. And Kevin took to him also because of his illness. He felt like he had to protect him. And that particular day, after the little boy had a seizure, the police were on the scene, of course. And these were the same police that had harassed, targeted, abused this community for years, right? And when they were there, the family believed that they were not really giving this child having a medical emergency, the attention, the urgency that he needed. There are reports that said it took 18 minutes to get this child to the hospital. There are situations where when the police pull up on something, they'll toss a kid or a person in the backseat of their car and take them to the hospital. But this isn't what happened with Kevin's brother. And his name was Bam Bam. It was a childhood nickname. And so, the police were stepping over the little brother's body. Kevin was next door and he could look in the window. He couldn't see his brother, but he saw the police basically stepping over him, walking around the house. He was trying to figure out what they were looking for and assumed they were looking for him. So, eventually the paramedics came and eventually they did take the little boy to the hospital. But the family just felt like the police were showing the same amount of apathy and disgust to them as they had, forever, basically. And, being 19, and also Kevin was 19, being 19 years old and just seeing the police basically murder your little brother, which is how he felt, right? Of course, the police don't believe that, but in his mind at that moment, he felt like they contributed to his brother's death. So being 19 years old, having lived a life of, poverty and trauma and abuse, and then watching basically your brother die, who you were very close with, Kevin basically snapped. And that night, several hours later, he killed one of the policemen. So that is why Kevin is on death row today. And when he killed the policeman, he screamed, you killed my brother. Again, like I said, I talked to so many people and I don't know what I would have done if I'd have been in that situation and saw basically my brother die, who I was very, very close with, and seeing the people who I felt were responsible, especially those people in the same group who has targeted and harassed and, abused my community for decades. So, I really want people to understand that feeling, that being in that position to where you witnessed that, and what would you do? Of course, today Kevin regrets what he did. You know, I mean, right now he's 37 years old. He has had time to, figure out, his own mental health, his own trauma, and trying to deal with that. But at that particular point, he was 19. It was just too devastating, and he acted out in that particular manner. So our horrible prosecutor, which is the same person who wouldn't prosecute the person who killed Mike Brown, right? Darren Wilson, he wouldn't prosecute him. The same prosecutor is the person who put Kevin on death row, in addition to 28 other people from our community. This prosecutor had put on death row in our state, right. And did everything he could to get a death sentence, including the all-white jury, and that whole thing. He did everything he could to get a death sentence against Kevin.
Right, and I want to point out, because oftentimes you mentioned that that he was killed, right? I mean that Kevin committed that he retaliated against this officer who he felt was guilty of medical neglect when it came to his little brother, right? Oftentimes folks like, well, you do the time, you do the. It's not a question of guilt or innocence. Let's start with that. You know what I'm saying? We don't think that this terrorist genocidal state has the right to take anyone's life. That's the first thing. But I also want to point out that here it is, from reading his story, reading Kevin Johnson's story about how he came up. You're talking about coming up with a mother who was addicted to crack. He had a father who was, I believe, imprisoned at the time. They went through all types of different situations in the home, poverty. Read a report about where the children ate roaches to survive. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is, from the backstory I read, it almost seems like he didn't even have a chance, number one. But here it is. This thing happened back in 2005. We're talking about, 15, 16, 17 years ago? Yeah. And he was 19 at the time, and now they've decided to execute him. What are some of the things that you all are doing in your community to counter this decision, and what are some ways that the general public can support the situation?
Okay, thank you for asking. So we do work with Kevin's legal team, and they are, doing the court maneuvers, trying to appeal to the governor, trying to go to the Supreme Court, both of our state and the U.S. Supreme Court. And that is something, that is ongoing, and we definitely support the legal team and what they're doing. So they do that, part about court. What my job is, and my organization's job is to amplify our community, both locally and, nationally as well, behind what's going on. And so in that vein, I have, of course, contacted you and so many other people. We put together information so people can know about Kevin, and, be educated so they can support us, which is the toolkit. It's called a toolkit. So basically a document that has all of the relevant info, and that is Take Action for KJ. It's all caps, bit.ly/Take Action for KJ. So once we try to, educate people, amplify people, and really reaching out to everybody. This is a process, but I'm really trying to do that outreach, and we're going to stand up. Normally, people don't do a lot of, I'm gonna say rah-rah. I'm from the hood, so we say, you know what I mean. We don't do a lot of rah-rah, right?
We from the hood too. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. So, and actually, just want to recognize 11 years ago, the state of Georgia murdered Troy Davis. And I remember, I was younger, but I do remember that uprising, that offense to murdering this man who was innocent, right?
Yes.
And all of the work that you did, and I definitely appreciate that. So I'm really trying to get to a point where we have that outrage. We have that outrage when these states murder, because this is what it is, a state murder. When these states are murdering our people, I know that we saw George Floyd, right? And I saw video of Mike Brown's body laying in the streets of Ferguson for 4 hours under a sheet. I saw that, right? And that was outrageous, and that, you know, really touched a lot of people. And I get that an execution, you don't see it, it's behind doors, it's behind fences, and etc. But we need that outrage. We need people to understand they are killing our people. A lot of people that are on death rows in, you know, across the country, mentally, mental issues like intellectual disabilities, severe mental illnesses, severe trauma, just like Kevin. There are so many people on death row that have been abused and neglected as children, and the system doesn't care, right? They cycle them through foster homes. They, you know, ignore them. But as soon as they turn 16 or 18 or 19 and do something, all of a sudden, here comes the entire system on top of them when that same system was absent when they were children and needed that support. So that is the real crux. We don't believe in execution. So we are asking people to get behind what we're doing. We will be doing some actions. We will be, you know, going to our state capitol locally here in St. Louis. Actually, next Friday, I have a meeting with some organizers, and we're going to, you know, strategize exactly what we want to do. But we will be hitting the street. I've spoken with Kevin, and he's at a place where he's understanding what's going on, right? He definitely hopes this is stopped, but he understands the situation that he's in. And when I talked to him, I said, you know, whatever they do, we ain't gonna be quiet about it. Like, I'm tired of being quiet about the murders of my people. It's ridiculous. Like, I get we all got to pay bills. We all got to get our kids to school. We all got to do a whole lot of things, right? I get that. But until we actually come together with a voice that says, you know what, this has to stop, it's going to continue. So we are going to be making our leaders uncomfortable in this next month before this execution date. We are going to amplify Kevin and to really get in the streets to let everybody know that this is not okay and we don't approve the government killing in our name. And it is in your name. If you pay taxes somewhere and you are in a state where they execute people, they are killing people in your name because your tax dollars pay for that.
Yeah, but beyond, even beyond what you're saying in regards to tax dollars, with all due respect, you know, F that. And I'm saying that because of the fact that, you know, we're sitting here in real time, and I'm talking to the viewers. We have the opportunity at this particular moment to put a halt to someone being murdered. These pieces of shit, I'm gonna just say that. These pieces of shit are telling you this is a form of terrorism. They're telling you that, look, this man will expire on this particular date, and you can't do anything about it. But we can do something about it. Yeah. So if you can't do nothing but start a petition, if you can't do anything but do a teach-in in your area, we're getting behind this particular case, our organization, the FTP movement, and I'm calling for Black Power Media to get behind this case, which we will. And for all of you who out there who are organizers in whatever particular community that you're in, if you're not an organizer, if you're just a citizen, right now they're talking about executing this man. They're talking about taking this man out. And we can sit here and say, oh, this is a good show. Or we can look back at the clip. I remember they was on there. That's messed up. That's a damn shame. Don't sit by idly because of the fact that by default, if you don't make some type of effort, then ultimately you're saying you're against this man. Because had it been your child, your brother, or whoever, you'd want everyone to get behind. I applaud you, Michelle, because of the fact that he's not a relative of yours. You don't have any skin in this game. You could have been like, you know what, man, you know, shit, damn, I hope they don't kill him. What's coming on TV tonight? You know what I'm saying? What y'all heard what Kanye said? The same way we walking around talking about the dumb shit that Kanye's talking, we need to be talking about Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson's name should ring bells all across the planet right now. All across the planet.
Funny you should mention that, Kalonji. I do get frustrated with my community. I do get frustrated with my people because we pay way too much attention to asinine shit, right? We really do. Yeah. And I mean, I don't listen to Kanye. I don't care what he's doing, but we just give so much, not just, okay, hey, Kanye crazy and keep it moving. think pieces and dissertations and people writing whole damn articles and books around something that we can ignore him, right? We can literally ignore these people, but the things that we should pay attention to, like this, like what's going on in Haiti, there are so many things going on right now today that we need to focus on that we don't, and we're giving too much attention to nothingness that really is not going to make any difference, right? I just really appeal to people to, give something else some attention. A story like Kevin. Kevin has a daughter, and actually I asked her to come on this morning. She actually has a 1-month-old. Kevin's grandson was born September the 9th. And she's 19 years old. She's about to lose her father, right? And sadly, this little girl, her name is Corey, she lost her mother when she was 4 from violence. So this is the only parent she has. And so, she's very close with him. So it is such a situation where there should be no one, not speaking out. We do have also a petition, it's change.org/clemency for KJ. But we do want people to go to the petition, go to, the toolkit, read about it and share, talk to your family. I talk to so many people, church groups, etc. We're really trying to get people activated to support this situation because it means something. His life means something. Everyone's life means something. And our state does not have any place to kill anybody because of the things that this country has done. They ain't got a right to kill anybody. So that's my overall point. But yeah, I definitely appreciate, you and BPM. And we really, really need everyone, even if you can do something in your city. Some people are coming to St. Louis, right, in the next month or so. But if you can, in your own community, if you have an organization or you have a church or whatever, institution you're part of, if you want to do a rally, right, if you want to make up some signs and go, outside and call on the media and let them know, we need to amplify Kevin and this story now because they are, planning to be the atrocious people they are. And I'm trying not to, call them too many names, but it's horrible. It is horrible the way, if people saw an execution, it is honestly one of the most gruesome, disgusting things. The stories that I read from, there have been officers and people that have been in executions and quit right after because it was so horrible. Right. These people work in prisons, but it can be pretty bad. So we definitely need our community to come out nationwide, everybody. I don't care what org you're with, what institution you're with. We need people to come out and stand strong with us, to save Kevin.
Right. And for now, go to this website, MADPMO. It's like madpmo.org, because you can find a link to the petition, but you can also find the toolkit and more information on who Kevin Johnson is. Again, she mentioned that he's a father of a 19-year-old. He went in prison at age 19. So I take it he didn't even get a chance to see his daughter, or at least get to know her outside of the walls. And he has a grandchild who is a month old. You know what I mean? So we want him to be able to grow old with his grandchild and not be executed in 49 days. I want to real quick, because we have to go, but for folks to get an understanding, because I think that oftentimes we don't experience the human side of the individual. Who is Kevin Johnson today? How has this quote unquote incarceration, this ordeal, how has he spent this time?
Kevin is honestly an amazing person. And I'm not just saying that there are other people who have, really spoken for who he is today. People assume prisons are horrible, and they are, right? But the people inside of those walls, they create a community. When someone says they're healed or they're, working on themselves in prison, it's not because of the institution, it's because of the people around them. So Kevin has become a mentor to a lot of the young men coming in prison, because like I said, he was 19. So he is a mentor. He teaches young men like their GED courses. He is actually a really amazing person. And the date that they gave him an execution date, so many guys start calling us, like they're really, really upset that this is going on, because Kevin is so close to so many people on the inside. They value him. You know, he has taken on that task of working on himself. He's gotten with other men about how to be a better father from the inside, and he has bettered himself so much and grown. Like I said, he was 19 years old, so he's grown and he's healed a lot because he dedicated himself to the work of healing. He's an author. Kevin has written 2 books, and he's really an amazing. He's very quiet as well. You know, when you talk to him, he's not a very talkative person, and he's not really loud. He's just a very intelligent, very very supportive person to his family and everyone around him.
And this execution date is set for the 29th, you said?
November 29th, correct. Okay. And our social is part of my name here is MADPMO. So people can go follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and please take part in what we're doing.
No doubt. We appreciate you coming on, Michelle. And as I mentioned earlier, we are standing behind this case, and it is we're going to do everything in our power to stop this execution. To our listeners, yes, no doubt, to our listeners and to our viewers, friends, family, comrades, foes, whatever, let's get behind this situation and let's put a stop to this these government or state sanctioned murders. Definitely appreciate you, Michelle. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.
You're checking out the Remix Morning Show, and we're talking about the case of Kevin Johnson. We'll be right back at you. Stay tuned. Remix.
Hey, folks.
Peace. Definitely.
Thank you for bringing Kevin's story to everybody.
That was wonderful, and thank you, and many blessings, and a lot of support to Michelle and everyone involved in supporting Kevin and doing this work for him.
I mean, this is as if the United States government isn't doing enough across the globe. I mean, for the sake of any type of false sense of morality, the death penalty in the United States should be abolished without question. I mean, with all the botched executions, with all the mistakes and all of that type shit, the lynchings and and firing squads and all of this type shit. For them to still be talking about executing folks is insane. Shout out to DJ B Love and to all the folks out there who are educators. Yes, get your students behind this case. This is what we did when we dealt with Troy Davis. This is what we did when we was dealing with Mumia when he was on death row. Get your students behind this case and make sure that they go to the website, sign the petition. All of your friends, families, and neighbors should know what's going on. I can't, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for BPM right now, but I can't really feel remorse for people who murder our people. And I think that his brother was a victim of medical neglect. You know what I mean? So Kevin Johnson, in my mind, he took it upon himself. Whether he was right or wrong, I'm not even going to try to judge that. But I think that, he already lost his brother. The state lost an agent of repression. And I think that they should call that even right now. And, some folks are saying that, he should be exonerated or he should be, his sentence to be commuted to life in prison. I would even say that he should be released as a whole, because I think that he's done his time and that he should be released. But at the very least, he should this execution should be stopped.
I can't remember hearing about Kevin's case at the time in 05, but I moved to St. Louis in 06. And there was another story, I think, that happened in 07. Another Black man who took retaliation out against the state. His name was Cookie Thornton. And I really wish we could get a documentary about Cookie Thornton. And correct me if you guys know the right answer, chat. I think he was right in Kirkwood, Missouri, which is one of the satellite suburbs of St. Louis. And what Cookie Thornton did, he was the victim of just repeated targeted state actions of fining him and trying to criminally prosecute him for just doing his business. He had some business involving vehicles on the street where he was constantly being ticketed to the tune of thousands of dollars. And one day, Cookie Thornton went up, I think it was Kirkwood. Let me go back to the chat and make sure the chat has got me in the right area.
It's Kirkwood.
He went to the Kirkwood City Council. He shot and killed a couple of cops, the mayor, a couple of city council members. Just an incredible act of resistance and retaliation. And I can't remember if Cookie took his own life or did they end up killing him. But just to put that in context with Kevin Johnson's story and then coming up to Ferguson in 2015, I mean, St. Louis, that whole area has been, when I was there, I'm like, I can feel the simmering tension here, the racial tension. So when these instances occurred, like, it didn't shock me at all, because the people in that area, Black people in that area, are fed the fuck up, fed up. And so anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Like, there was just these instances of revolution and resistance did and continue to come out of the St. Louis area. So we need to support the people there as much as possible.
Yeah, I just add that, I just don't think any state should have the right to kill its citizens. I don't care if it's revolutionary Cuba. I don't care if it's repressive, oppressive, the United States of America. I just think the state itself should not be in the business of killing its citizens. I think there are plenty of states that show that maybe somebody does need time away, or they need mental health services, or they need a way to get their life back together. They need a way to make amends for whatever they did for themselves and for the folks who may have lost family, whoever it is, and whatever the situation is. But the bottom line is the state just makes too many mistakes. And more importantly, principally speaking, the state should just not have the power to decide who lives and who dies. And in that respect, so I don't think any country should be killing its citizens. There are other ways in which to handle acts that are considered obviously bad or even heinous in terms of general society, that you can do with folks, or try to rehabilitate folks, or even, again, separate them for a time period from the general society. All of that I can support. So even on that principle alone, we should be standing against the execution of Kevin and the execution of anybody, I believe, in terms of what the role of a state is in terms of people's lives.
I'm for retribution. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not for the state's brand of it, because I don't.
I'm not for. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You finished. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm for justice by whatever means. But I don't think that an unjust system or a state should have the power to enact it. I think they've done enough killings across the planet for generations and for centuries. So I don't think that they have the right. But I'm not against punishment again. But I'm also against abolishing this state, this system, and certainly this their practices.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, what you said, Kamau, about the there are so many instances of the state making mistakes. In regard to this country, they're not even mistakes, because when these issues are raised, where there was ineffective counsel, where witnesses recanted and those recantations were not taken seriously, where evidence was planted, where it was shown that people were set up and framed by the cops, by the prosecutors. And the Supreme Court just, I think, issued a ruling a few months ago that ineffective counsel is not a good enough reason to overturn a guilty conviction. I mean, it's not even a situation where the state makes mistakes, not this state. It doesn't make mistakes. This state validates its wrongness and its posture toward taking life unjustly. So, I mean, this I can't even call them mistakes. This state is in the business of killing people that it deems to be excess population members and that they want to make examples of, and they will find every reason and excuse under their laws to justify it, I think.
Yes. Checking out the Remix Morning Show.
Well, I think in the background are we having another break coming up in my ear, doctor, my brother? You're just sitting up in the back in heaven.
Chilling in heaven.
Hey, we need a quick break, and everybody can get a breathe, right, get their blood pressure going, right, because man, it's a lot, and we gotta I'm glad to see a lot of people signing the petition. Make sure y'all go ahead and do that so we can put in that work, no doubt. Yes. So let's take a quick break and get back to some more news right here on the Remix Morning Show. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We got viewers, but we don't got the likes to match the viewers. So please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get to that 20K today. So help us out and let's do it. All right. So y'all see me right here. We'll talk about a brother that made his transition. And in case y'all didn't see this Sundays, I was able to put him on the cover. That's right. I'm talking about no other than Author Ashe. And yes, I did rock out this Sunday. Thank y'all for coming out. As you can see, bam. That's right. That's right. We was rocking out. Had a little bit of excerpts from Author Ashe doing this thing. So let me talk about Author Ashe for a quick second. Author Ashe, straight from Richmond, Virginia. He's actually a tennis player who won 3 Grand Slam titles. He started playing tennis at age 6. His dad said, "You are not going to be playing no football," so he took up tennis. He's the first black player selected to the U.S. States Davis Cup team. Only black man ever to win a singles title at Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and the Australian Open. He retired in 1980. What happened also in his life is he acquired HIV from a blood transfusion during a heart bypass surgery. He had the illness and announced it in 1992. And with that, he started the Author Ashe Foundation for the Defeat of AIDS and the Author Ashe Institute for Urban Health before his death from pneumonia at the age of 49. Now, Author Ashe wasn't just a tennis player. He's also looked at as dealing in civil rights. During this period, Author was active civil rights supporter. He was a member of the delegation of 31 prominent African Americans who visited South America to observe political change in the country and racial integration. He was arrested in January 1985 for protesting outside the embassy of South Africa, Washington, D.C., during the anti-apartheid rally. He was arrested again in 1992 outside the White House for protesting the recent crackdown on Haitian refugees. I mean, they've been dealing with Haiti for so long, where you can go back all the way and see it's still being dealt with to this day. So I had to give a big up and a shout out to my man Author Ashe, one of the best tennis players ever. So with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Show.
It was the anniversary of his death or something?
Oh, no. Just, I just bring up different people throughout history, especially if they did a little, activism, and even if not.
Got you. Now, I like Arthur Ashe. I think he showed growth in a sense of, at one point in his life or career, he did not want to get involved at all in civil rights activities. He was one of those folks who kind of like thought getting close to white folks or close to power was the way to talk to them in some civil way to convince them of how Black folks were treated. And I think later on, he, after some intellectual challenges of his stances, I think he changed a lot in terms of his positions and what he started to advocate for, let's say. And I think he did a lot of work, and you pointed out, around the anti-apartheid movement in particular, other civil rights movements here. And so, yeah, big up to Arthur Ashe and all the work that he did.
First ever Black American man Grand Slam champion. First ever. Still the only one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Francis Tiafo, who is from Maryland, from College Park, I think made it to either the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the U.S. Open this past September, which was held at Arthur Ashe Stadium up there in Flushing, Queens, where the U.S. Open is held. So, yeah, Arthur Ashe, singularly, still stands alone in the world of tennis for black men.
They call him Arthur Ashe, last name coming from the slave plantation, but I'm gonna call him Arthur Ashe. Big up Arthur Ashe.
Ooh, smooth.
I'll catch y'all next time.
Big up RVA. What's up, Central Virginia? Come through.
Yeah, shout out to the legacy of Arthur Ashe, and may more brothers and sisters take on the role of Arthur Ashe as far as getting into tennis, so on and so forth. But I posted a few seconds ago. I want to issue a challenge, because this is this last chat with our sister Michelle made me realize that we can do more. Now, we all have a lot of comrades who are podcasters. Many of you listen to different podcasts. You have all these bloggers. You have all of these folks that always have something to say. Now, we are talking about mainly the dead all the time. We say respect the dead and we fight for the living, right? So with that in mind, I want to issue a challenge to everyone who knows a podcaster, radio host, someone with a magazine, a blog, someone who tweets a lot, to talk about Kevin Johnson's case. It's not Kevin Rashid Johnson. That's another case. He's in Virginia. Kevin Johnson is in Missouri. Again, there's 49 days until they're scheduling his execution. All of these folks out here that's talking all that jazz, the Roland Martins and all of them, they need to be talking about Kevin Johnson. We're talking about saving someone's life. Let's not wait till after he's executed and just make it the story of the day. So I'm asking everyone to please challenge your people. We supporting these folks. Man, this is what we're supposed to do, because folks challenge Black Power Media. Folks say, listen, we want you to talk about such and such, and we get to it. So we need the same from you. All right? Appreciate that.
And someone in the chat wants to know, for you, Jackie, about to say who the cutie behind Jack. You want your man. Look, he's standing there looking too. Look, he's chilling. He's chilling in the background. He making.
I told y'all I'm having they're here installing the
is that what they call it now? Installing.
The dialysis machine that will be sitting in here.
Either say hi or get out the camera.
He's there.
We're telling him to either say hi or get out the camera.
I haven't kidnapped people.
Jackie calls it installing the plumbing. That's a new word, new phrase here at BPM. We're just here. This is a family show, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes for sure.
Hey, it is my birthday.
That's right. That is right.
I'm celebrating all month.
You're right.
How I celebrate my business. No, let me stop. Before my father be calling me, what are you doing?
Matter of fact, what's your father's number so we can give him send him the link?
Does your dad listen to your podcast?
My dad, he does on the down low. He pretends like he doesn't, but I since he's like officially retired now, and me and his wife told him he can't get another job doing nothing, he sits around the house now like, well, I guess I should listen to her on the radio or whatever. Yes. He does listen sometimes, so I have.
We should have your dad on the show, Jackie. I feel as though your father would have some brilliant insights. I would like to. I would like to hear from your dad. Anybody, I think maybe we should bring our elders on if we're able to.
You gotta understand. My dad is an elder in the Church of God in Christ, so he real holy. Right, he real holy. So there are some conversations that me and my dad don't even have because we do not agree, and I love and respect him, and that's his opinion, and that's how he feel about it, and I feel another way about it, and we just don't go there. It's like literally two things that we.
Wait a minute, I thought you was holy too.
Huh?
I thought you were also
half holy. She's only half
holy. I'm saved, but you can still catch these hands on a good day. I'm saved and all, but
try Jesus.
Try Jesus, but do not try this one.
We'll try Jackie.
Do not try Jackie. Real quick, Jacqueline. I saw a story Friday, and I thought about you because I said, "Oh man!" So, and this is a nationwide story, FYI. So, there was this past weekend a National Faith and Blue weekend, where Black churches were partnering with law enforcement across the country in order to foster goodwill between the Black community and law enforcement. And I saw this pastor from DC talking about, there is no good relations between the community and the police without goodwill ambassadors, and people in the community have all these misconceptions and direct all this vitriol unnecessarily towards the police, and it's up to us as clergy to be goodwill ambassadors. I said, I hope Jackie Luke Mom pastor ain't part of this Faith in Blue weekend. I was very disappointed in some of these Black clergy.
I didn't know about that weekend, and I'm glad I didn't know. But I don't know who the pastor was involved. I'm pretty sure our pastor wouldn't have been involved in such a thing because, even though the pastor of our church, he is actually no longer the pastor because he has stepped down from the senior minister position only because of his health and stuff like that. Kind of like the reason why I'm not the moderator anymore, because my health is not, I can't deal with that foolishness no more. But I mean, in our church, Plymouth Congregational United Church of Christ, we are actively trying to advance the revolutionary radical pursuit of justice on behalf of the oppressed that is actually in the book. So this whole idea of, giving cover to the cops who oppress our people, that shit ain't biblical. And while and even my pastor and I disagree that, cops are just a bad institution. And he's like, well, there are some good cops, and I've been in the movement for a long time, and I've had good relationships with some cop, blah, blah. Yeah, cool. I'm not there. And we understand that about each other. He's not to the point where this entire system needs to go yet. And that's cool. But these pastors who are so quick to pray for the cops are usually the very same pastors who say nothing about the case we just talked about, about Kevin Johnson, about the case you brought up, Kim, about, the brother down in Ferguson, about the police abuse and the police murder. There's an issue, and I think you all talked to Dedan Wakuri last week. Down in Greensville, the cops abusing Black folks. They broke a woman's hand in Greensville, and the pastors down there, they had a bless the badge event.
Serious?
No, yes, they did. And the very same pastor talking about, we need to pray for the police. Silent on the police abuse of that woman. So this is the problem that I have as a person of faith, understanding that Jesus would have been turning over the tables and calling out the abusive, oppressive system of control that the police are as a tool of empire. think of the police as the modern day Roman centurions.
Yes, Pontius
That,
Pilate.
so when you're thinking about faith and Christ and that period of time, whether you believe that Christ existed or not, and what Christ would be doing and saying about the police, what was his attitude toward the centurions, toward the Roman Empire? That's what Christ would. So that's where I take my cue as a person of faith about how I should feel about the system of policing in this country. If it's not a system that is created by the people from the communities for the protection of the people and not property, then that system is in opposition to the people.
You know, I had a real good brother hit me up. He has a barbershop out here, and he means well, and he's been supporting, you know, FTP for years. But he hit me up in the inbox about a week and a half ago, and he said to me, he said, man, you know, we got the barbershop and everything, and we have these community discussions. So every other week, I think he said, we have some real cool cops come through and they talk to the community and everything, and we just dialogue. And I want to get you to come through. So I asked him, I said, man, you know my take on the police and everything. He's like, yeah, you know, but they real cool. They from the neighborhood, this and that. I said, brother, why would I purposely go somewhere that I know the police are going to be at? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that we can discuss. I can give you some information, some books to read or something like that. But for me to just go in there, and I've in the past, in my younger years, you know, I debated cops and whatnot. We'd have these panels and everything, and you know, we going through that whole thing along with a number of different organizations. But I can't. We're still caught up in this. You know, there's some good cops out there. All right, well, organize against those who are not good cops and keep it moving. But you and I, we don't have anything to talk about if you're not talking about abolishing this system. You know what I'm saying? If you're not talking about community control or public safety, you know, then we don't have anything to talk about. We're not talking about, you know, hands up, don't shoot, and pull your pants up, and you know, opening a new community center for the kids to play basketball. That's not what it's about here. And I think that our people get confused. But the brother, you know, he didn't get cursed out because I know his heart. But again, it just told me, it's like, you know,
there's too many people out there who I think they confuse. It's like because somebody is good to their family, or they pet their dog, or they're nice people in general. It doesn't mean when they're given the orders to march on you, to arrest you, to brutalize you, to stop you from carrying out your rights, to arrest somebody because of how they look or who they are. They will fulfill those orders, and they will justify and rationalize everything that they're doing, and they go home and be nice to their kids and nice to their wife, or nice to their husband.
And that's big maybe.
Well, the point is that it doesn't matter whether or not they're nice people or not nice people. People need to get beyond the idea like the personality of the cop matters. What matters is that the institution is an institution which is meant to oppress us. And so it doesn't matter whether or not somebody's cool around you or around other folks. What matters is that the institution themselves, and we can't get beyond that thinking. I remember when I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and, you know, again, we were running the Jackson plan. We were trying to take over these institutions, and we decided part of that work was that we were going to try to get the first Black cop or the first Black sheriff elected in Hinds County. And then you had all these Black pastors who wanted to support him, but they were actually, they had two modes of operation. One was scared, right? So they were scared of the white sheriff, who was already the sheriff of Hinds County, because they thought that sheriff was going to threaten them. That sheriff was, he was threatening them, I should say, that he was going to do some different things and all that kind of stuff. And so they were talking about how they were scared that, you know, something would happen to them as either 501c3 or church organizations. And then when they're not scared, then they're embracing. Because the moment that Black cop won, who turned out to be garbage, right? Who turned out to be a supporter of conservative politics, who played us more than we played him in terms of thinking we would get some insight by having this Black sheriff elected. This whole pastoral community celebrated this person, celebrated them, wrapped their arms around them, blessed them, and all that kind of stuff. So it's either currying favor or being scared. right? But we don't understand, for the most part, it's about challenging and fighting these institutions, because it doesn't matter, again, whether or not somebody is good, bad, or indifferent. When they get their marching orders to take out folks in your community, to destroy, disrupt organizations, to kill Black people, they will follow those orders through and through.
That's why I think this National Faith in Blue initiative, I think, is very insidious and very intentionally misleading and confusing to people, because, you know, present company excluded, with the exception of Jackie, a lot of Black people still go to church. You know what I'm saying? They are devoted Christians by and large. Well, Christians and Muslims overwhelmingly, but let's stick with Christianity for a moment, because Christianity, the way that these pastors are being rolled out alongside law enforcement, is just giving me big plantation vibes, right? You have the overseers, the police, alongside the people who are telling you that your liberation will come in death. It will come in heaven. And now, whilst on earth, you have to learn how to get along with your oppressors. And that just, I would hope any pastor or church that participated in this event, like I said, this was a nationwide thing across the country. I mean, those pastors have to be discredited as community leaders, because at the end of the day, the institution is not interested in reformation. It's not interested in developing better relations with the community. That's not what it wants. The policing as an institution doesn't even want to correct itself. Look at how harshly whistleblowers are dealt with. People who are inside of these law enforcement agencies, who are bringing attention to the misconduct and the criminal activities, they get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They fucked them up. That's what they get for trying to be, you know, trying to root out the bad apples out of the bunch. But it was just really gross and disappointing to see these Black pastors specifically. Again, I didn't see not now white church in this. It was Black churches standing hand in hand with law enforcement, talking about we need to improve the relations in the community. Shut the fuck up.
As organizers, it's real quick. As organizers, we have to protest these churches and this whole police shit. Whenever they have that thing, there should be a counter force, either across the street or on the same side of the street, and it has to be called out, not just us talking behind the doors. Listen, man, I mean, some of y'all get it confused, and you think that if you speak out against any immoral religious practices, then that you're being sacrilegious. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? We have to really organize against these motherfuckers. You got to let them know. You got to say, listen, we are absolutely positively displeased that you're going to bring you're going to try to confuse the people, because that's what's taking place. Because you have to realize that a lot of these pastors are lightweight politicians. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe me, check Pastor Warnock. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is what they're attempting to do. So they're starting off early, trying to win over the police and the police unions. You know what I'm saying? They're the people that's going to help say, okay, turn your guns in. And most of these pastors just as crooked as you are. You understand what I'm saying? These rotten motherfuckers. I know a lot of pastors, and they're worse than a whole lot of folks we know. You know what I'm saying? That they call themselves sinners. So again, protest. Whenever you see this thing happen, organize a group and say, nah, we ain't having this. The police are murdering us. They kill over 1,100 people in the community every single year. Now, tell us, Pastor, what would Jesus do? You understand what I'm saying? And he damn sure won't be doing what you talking about doing. Because as Jackie pointed out, Pontius Pilate, the Roman soldiers, all of them, according to that story, he was against the state. He was a revolutionary, feeding people. You understand what I'm saying? Turning over the money changes, whipping their ass up in the temple. The only time you ever heard of the story of quote unquote Jesus going inside the church was with that whip, and he was tearing their asses up. So that's the only joints we talk about. So if we're going to talk about religion, let's talk about it from a practical way.
And I'm holy and I approve that message. Yes, preach, teacher.
Pastor Chong giving us the word. Reverend Dr.
I will be taking donations for my church here.
See what I mean?
the Revolutionary Church in Kalanji. But we got to get ready to go. I know there's some shows coming up. We have a special riot starter tomorrow with Professor Griff and LT Latanya Davison. We'll be making a huge announcement tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Riot Starter TV. What else is coming up? Burn It Down, Kim Brown, Jackie Luke Mon.
Yep, Burn It Down with Kim Brown tonight, 7 p.m. BPM. If y'all subscribing to Black Power Media, please go on over to Burn It Down with Kim Brown and give a subscription. I'm going to be checking in with some labor actions. The biggest railroad union has rejected the latest contract offer, so we could be inching towards a railroad strike. So I'm going to give some updates around that and some other stories as well. 7 p.m. tonight Eastern. Burn It Down with Kim Brown.
Yep, People's Power Hour will resume at some point, I think, on some regularity around the 1st of November when things settle down here. But I'll be, showing up here and there. I think next week is Blackonomically Speaking. I'm going to try to fit a show in this week because there's some other things that I want to talk about on the international front. Haiti and Black Alliance for Peace statement. Check out Blacks for Peace on Twitter and share out their statement on Haiti in particular. We need to keep that issue raised. So stay tuned for more People's Power Hour with me, the People's Prophetess, Jackie Luqman.
I'll just be here tomorrow.
You gonna be here tomorrow? Come on.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Come on,
forget,
gonna be here
everybody.
tomorrow.
This is Jackie's birthday month, so PayPal.me/Luqman Nation. We are taking material gifts. Jacqueline is not asking for the material gifts. I'm telling y'all to send Jackie material gifts. Okay, so big up Jackie for her born day. Yep.
Yes. Oh yeah,
whole
and
month,
shout out to my daughter,
Jackie, whole month.
Zuri. I love you. Shout out to you. Happy birthday as well. 9 years old today. Gangster. Hit him with the right, the left, and the left and the right again. Anyways, the Remix Morning Show. Y'all know why y'all here. Black Power Media. 20K. Help us get there.